Roberts became superintendent of Iowa's largest school system in 2023. The district says he disclosed that he had previously pled guilty to a minor firearms charge, but they say they were not aware of a deportation order issued last May.
This guy's a literal stud, okay? He's so awesome. A go-getter, an overachiever. The very fact that this is the type of person that this administration is actively trying to deport from this country, a role model, a pillar of the community, someone who is an overachiever by every metric, like a good person, but not just a good person, but like an Olympic athlete. Like, this is who we have to get out of the country? Are you f***ing insane? This makes no sense. Like, go ahead, try to explain this to people. Unless you are straight up a Klansman who sees a black person and goes, hell yeah, I'm glad that we got this scary thug out of here. Like, most people are going to look at this and be like, why the f are you kicking this guy out? There's like a million dumb dipshits I think would be better served if we kicked them out than this guy. Like, what the f? And he is the norm, for the record. Like, he is an exceptional person. His background is exceptional. But there are plenty of people who play a major role in their communities. Like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe they took this dude out.
Roberts is accused of overstaying a student visa issued in 1999. In a statement, the local ICE director tells CBS this should be a wake-up call for our communities to the great work that our officers are doing every day to...
Like, that's crazy. It is a wake-up call for the communities, just not in the direction that you think, dumbass. That's what it is. It quite literally is a wake-up call that this is what ICE does. They take out people who are doing incredible work. They actively go after people who are doing fantastic work, serving their communities in ways that ICE never could dream of. Calling this guy a public safety threat when he is so clearly not, I think, will open up a lot of normal people's eyes to the reality of what ICE is doing. Is the diametrical opposite of what Donald Trump presented as combating and targeting, which was violent criminals, violent, scary, monster criminals that the previous woke administration was too cowardly to go after. And then this is who you're apprehending. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm sorry, if you look at a guy like this and you go, that's a villain, automatically, a guy with a resume like this, if you look at a guy with a resume like this and you say, no, he deserved it, you are straight up a Grand Wizard of the Klan, okay? Like, I don't even think regular racists would openly be like, yeah, this guy needed to go. He is so above and beyond that, like, the average racist that's just like, I don't know about black people, I don't know about Mexicans. Like, the average racist would look at this guy and be like, oh, maybe you should have let this guy go. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That's nuts. Yeah, handsome Olympian PhD holder, superintendent, swagged out to the max, just a wonderful beacon in his community, and these guys are like, nope, yeah, he's got to go. I think you're sleeping on the average races. No, man. I'm saying that there is levels to this. Okay, I'm not saying that the average race is a good guy. I'm saying you don't have to be a good guy to think this is a bad thing. Do you not understand? This is not about like good, bad dynamics here. I'm saying even bad people would look at a situation like this and go, okay, this is a bridge too far. Okay, you're sleeping on the difference between New Jersey and Pennsylvania races and Iowa races. You live too long on the coast, I'm afraid. Dog, the Iowa races that sends his school still actually has encountered this superintendent. And if he's like a polite guy, they will literally go, I don't know, he might be one of the good ones. You know what I mean?
I love Dr. Roberts. Like, he has been a wonderful superintendent for us.
Roberts, a former Olympic athlete, had been well liked by many in the community. And while some are now questioning what background checks were done by the school district, others are questioning the motivation behind the arrest.
He was targeted specifically because he won't give access to ICE to arrest our kids. And we are 100% behind him.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Lana Zach in Iowa.
Oh, I could totally see that. Damn, I didn't even think about that. I'm telling you, man, look at that crowd. That's one day. That's day one, okay? I'm telling you, that's day one. Chatter said New Jersey and PA as if they aren't filled with Nazis. Guys, there are unimaginably racist people everywhere, okay? There are unimaginably racist people everywhere in this country. Wake the f up. What do we always talk about? Republicans are the leopards are eating my face party. For some, this will be a leopards are eating my face moment, okay? That's all I'm saying. It's kind of like voting for anti-abortion initiatives and then actually experiencing that. When it becomes real, it's different. This is a moment where it becomes real for everyone in Des Moines, Iowa. Not every single person that looks at that is going to go, hell yeah, I'm glad they did this. It already probably pissed off every single liberal, every single Democratic Party voter in the area in a 150-mile radius to begin with. It also woke up a lot of the apoliticals into action. But not only that, but I'm telling you, there are probably Republicans in the margins that will still, it pissed off all the independents and even some of the Republicans. There is no coalition you can keep up when you do stuff like this. You got to remember the mindset of like the normie, okay? The normie is not as tuned into this as you are. A big chunk of that is obviously privilege. A big chunk of that is also because they're too busy with their own okay? But when something like this is beamed into their television screens, all of a sudden they go, what the is this? Hey, yo, you're thinking that every single person is as like tuned into everything that's happening in the real world as you are and actively making a decision to ignore it or champion it. That's not the case.
State Representative and Reverend Rob Johnson put out a call for concerned citizens to join him at Corinthian Baptist Church in Des Moines. Roughly 200 people answered that call and cheered him on as he expressed his support.
But I want to be very clear. We're not just going to throw Ian Roberts away. I don't care what time.
But tonight's rally wasn't just a way to show support. It was a demand for change. Betty Andrews of the Iowa-Nebraska NAACP encouraged attendees to take action not just for Roberts, but other individuals detained by ICE.
It's concerning. We are concerned. But we're here today with all of you, monitoring, making sure, and letting our voice be heard.
Community leaders encourage unity in a time of disconnect and hope in the face of fear.
Dr. Ian Roberts being picked up by ICE. This is from the St. Louis Reddit. There's a lot of details about who this guy is and his background and stuff. I want to give you guys a little bit more into the background of this person from people from the actual subreddit itself, from r/St. Louis. Does anyone here have experience with this educator from St. Louis Public Schools? According to LinkedIn, he was an administrator with SLPS from 2015 to 2018. He has been the superintendent of schools in Des Moines, Iowa for the past 2 years. Today, ICE picked him up in Des Moines. According to media reports, he has an order removed from the year 2024 and no work authorization. He reportedly ran from cops and when captured had a loaded handgun and $3,000 in cash. He has a previous gun charge, which again, according to media reports, is a felony because people here without legal authorization are not supposed to have guns. It may be that the previous gun charge was not a big deal. It had to do with hunting activity. This is a big deal in Iowa. Anyone know him? The person says he was my direct supervisor in St. Louis Public Schools 10 years ago. Stand-up guy who was passionate about helping kids. Really supported me as a new principal. This is good to know. Do not believe a priori the report about the handgun and cash. ICE will simply make now they're totally unaccountable. Again, healthy amount of skepticism and scrutiny towards federal law enforcement, especially ICE. For ICE, I definitely agree with that kind of scrutiny, but I don't think that it was bullshit. I could totally see him having a gun for the record because it's Iowa. It's normal. Okay. The notion that this would be considered something so severe that it's punishable with deportation is ridiculous. It's more proof that he's just an American. Okay. I attached the first article from Des Moines newspaper. He's the district here has the district's reaction to information about the issues you raised. Friends who work with him said he was a friendly professional, knew his stuff. Friends from Des Moines say this was a hit because he wouldn't let ICE into the school buildings to grab kids. I'm an educator in Des Moines. The idea of this being a targeted hit is accurate. At least it feels like it. ICE has published inaccurate information in their official releases indicating he entered the country in 1999 on a student visa, but he graduated from Chopin State in 1998. So there's definite credibility question of his final order to vacate timeline. They also try to smear him with an old weapon charge, even calling it criminal, when in truth it was a hunting rifle in the backseat of his car that he paid a $100 ticket for. They also suggest he had no work authorization, but he was approved by a third-party betting source when we hired him and had a complete I-9 with all appropriate and requirement documentation. I know the West Des Moines School District does federal background checks and other extensive ones. This is the same for DSM District that blows credibility as well. It's crazy, man. That's actually crazy. People need to understand his previous gun charge was leaving a legally valid hunting rifle in his vehicle. Any guns he owned were perfectly legal until his status was revoked. A review of this man's history shows him to be anything other than a criminal. I'm questioning the ICE narrative and the media, the narrative of the media putting on him. He entered in on a student visa in 99, yet he legally attended Coppin State since 1995. The only statement I can find from him regarding immigration is that his parents immigrated, and here he says he's a U.S. citizen. This appears to be a hit and a smear campaign. Here he states he was born in Guyana. This is the more interesting response. He states in his birth in Guyana in an interview in Brooklyn. Other people put together he's maybe been here since he was 5. So we're looking at either residence in the USA since childhood with no restrictions on ability to work, study, travel in his life, a possible dual citizenship issue, or a student visa that actually did expire after he left his grad program in 2023-2024. Whatever the case, an immigration judge under the DOJ, not ICE, ordered his deportation. Given the details, it is extremely unlikely, impossible for him to have U.S. citizenship. If birthright citizenship, he would not be deportable. Alternatively, it is very, very rare to denaturalize a naturalized citizen. Yeah, so he's probably not an American citizen. It makes sense if he was in a grad school program all the way until 2024, and then they immediately kicked in an order of removal once his student visa was up. Not that it matters. Even if he was here illegally since 1999, I don't give a shit. That person is an exemplary human being that all immigrants that haven't done any crimes, that have just been working regular jobs, deserve to get full-blown documentation, okay? But this person is beyond that as well. He's an exemplary human. What the Clearly, the very fact that he was a superintendent in Des Moines implies that the numerous background checks have taken place and they've found him to be perfectly fine working in the United States. Like, he had the proper work authorization. Understand that immigration goes both ways, right? This is something that I always talk about. Immigration goes both ways. It's just as easy to document someone to give them the proper work authorization, and it's just as easy to take that away. This is a fundamental reality that many Americans do not comprehend, but it's actually one that Republicans are very aware of. That is precisely the reason why when J.D. Vance went on that stage and said Haitians are eating cats and dogs, openly admitted that that was a lie, by the way, and said he wanted to bring attention to it, he called them illegal aliens. The Haitians, that obviously weren't eating cats and dogs anyway, in Springfield, Ohio, were not illegal aliens. They had temporary protected status. They had the proper work authorization and the proper work clearance to actually work in Springfield, Ohio. They had the proper paperwork. They were not here illegally. They were not working illegally. And yet, J.D. Vance said that they were illegal because J.D. Vance understands a reality that many Americans don't, which is your status as an immigrant in this country can be taken away. Your status as an immigrant in this country can be easily taken away like a magic wand, which is exactly what he called the TPS status.